Hi, I'm Judy O'Neill, life coach and counselor. So, every time I hear the term self love, I get slightly nauseous. A vision of a Hollywood movie star gazing at themselves, patting their face in the mirror, is what comes to mind. But let's get past the initial bristle. So, in nature, everything, even amoebas, move towards pleasure and away from pain. But we humans can make choices that increase drama and pain. So I'd like to propose that the antidote to that pattern is a healthy relationship with yourself. And so it's a form of self love, but it makes me nauseous. So, to see what the characteristics are of having a healthy relationship with yourself, let's look at a list of what qualifies as a healthy relationship with a partner. So this is, pardon me, I'm going to read this from a paper. So takes good care of you and themselves physically, takes good care of you and themselves financially, wants to enjoy life with you, listens with compassion, is thoughtful, not impulsive, believes in your potential and encourages you, respects your limits and boundaries, accepts you, isn't consumed by addiction, is open and honest and a direct communicator, interested in learning, growing, and changing, and willing to ask for help when it's needed. They're not incredibly stubborn. So this list of a healthy relationship between two people is a good roadmap for how to increase your chances of thriving in life. Pardon me, I dropped my paper. So let's take a look at some of these. So takes good care physically. So what is a very small healthy behavior that you feel willing to add in this fall and winter? And the reason to bother with taking care physically, and another word that gets me to roll my eyes a little bit is self-care, is because then we feel better. So it's kind of the first answer is just to feel better. So perhaps you notice that you've been getting to bed later, and you know you'd feel better if you got just even a little more sleep. So maybe you're going to decide that 8:30 is your new cutoff for computer screen time, so that your brain, rather than staying stimulated, has time to wind down before going to bed. And what is a tiny unhealthy behavior that you might feel willing to let go of? Maybe it's to stop keeping sugar sodas at home and only have them out in restaurants. So next one is wants to enjoy life with you. I know that we're limited because of COVID-19 and what we can do, but what is something you honestly would like to do, keep it small, this autumn or winter that would be pleasurable? Maybe you'd like to set up a routine of having Zoom coffee with your sister every weekend because she always makes you laugh. Maybe you want to try a horseback riding lesson, something outside. And maybe you want to establish a routine for you and your partner to have cuddle time on Sundays. So the third one is believes in your potential and encourages you. So I wonder, something that we lose sight of when we're nose to the grindstone with our busy lives is dreams. What is a list of some dreams you have, tiny and bigger? I wonder if you could take just a little bit of time to be honest with yourself and vulnerable to admit to yourself, what would you really want? Now, pick a really doable one of those dreams and pick a teeny tiny step forward so that you can explore the possibility of that dream. Now, here's what's going to happen if you set a goal for a dream is there's going to be loads of negative beliefs about yourself and your potential and lots of doubts that come up. So take 10, 15 minutes and make a list or keep compiling it on your phone as you notice them come up of thoughts that doubt that you can do this, thoughts of why this can't happen, why you aren't someone capable of doing this. And then the chance is to start catching them, to be aware of them as they come up in life, and to try to disbelieve them. Now, if the thoughts are just too darn persuasive, it could be time to call for professional help from a counselor or a coach or a minister, rabbi. Finds compassion for you is the next one. So if someone you cared about was going through the experiences you have gone through, the difficulties, would you feel some compassion for them? I'm guessing you would. And anytime you can touch into a nugget of compassion for someone else or for you, please hold on to it carefully as much as you can. I know we can vacillate between feeling compassion for ourselves and feeling really critical of ourselves. But that self-compassion is part of helping us suffer less, actually, in life and having less drama. And then also, if you could imagine that you were all of a sudden in the room with you as a baby and knew that that baby had ahead of it all the challenges that you have gone through, might you feel compassion for that little being? So respect your limits and boundaries. So how can you better respect your limits and boundaries? Maybe you notice that anytime your mother-in-law, Anne, comes by the house uninvited, that you feel pissed and resentful. One way our psyches let us know that we are disrespecting or crossing our own boundaries and limits is we get resentful, bitter, or just really pissed. So maybe the next time you're alone in the kitchen with Anne, you tell her about how busy you are and how much you savor your alone time. And then you lightly ask her if it would be okay that she calls ahead before she visits to see if it's a good time or not. And don't even talk about it as if it's that big a deal, but sometimes those requests can go really well, instead of bottling everything up until you blow and explode, or get depressed and eat a ton of food. So accepting you. Perhaps you're upset that you're overweight and you feel out of control, and you feel, you think to yourself, I should not be this big. I'm ashamed of my lack of self-control. But the thought that actually increases your possibility of losing the weight is an accepting one, such as, wow, I am 50 pounds overweight. I'm on the edge of prediabetes, and this is not where I want to be, but I accept that this is where I am today. I'm not trapped. I will be moving forward. And life can be really hard, painful, stressful. So reaching for food is just understandable. And the majority of Americans, 71% of us, are overweight or obese. So we take comfort in eating extra food. That's just a very human thing to do. So that's part of acceptance. So last one is willing to ask for help when needed. What step can you take, for example, with the overeating, that feels right to you to get help? Is it to buddy up with a trusted friend who has the same goal? Is it to call a weight loss coach or a counselor to get help? So if you have any really powerful cravings and blood sugar issues, you might want to see a medical professional to help identify and get them out of the way to empower you to be able to do this. 5% of everyone, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 5% of all women in America have polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's me too. And it made for incredible sugar cravings. And I had binge eating off and on for 15 years. It was terrible. If it had been properly identified by a medical professional, it could have been fixed and a lot of suffering avoided. So when in doubt, rule out the physical first. So I wish you great success as you explore having a healthier relationship with yourself. And it's just with the purpose of you struggling less and experiencing more of what you want in life. So I'm Judy O'Neill, life coach and counselor. My website is bouldercoachingandtherapy.com. And you can just call or text me, 303-819-2099. And I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.